Hi everyone, it's Melissa and I have a question for you today. Does your goal feel out of reach? It can be really frustrating to be in that situation. I know I have felt this before. So if you relate to this feeling like you really want something, but it just feels out of reach and you don't know what to do about that, stay tuned for this video. And if you are new to this channel, please hit that subscribe button. I share a new video weekly with tools to help you on your spiritual journey. Connect with your angels, develop your intuition, manifest your dreams. So let's dive deeper. What do you do when your goal just feels out of reach? It's like it's just slipping out of your fingers. Well, I have a story of two things actually that have occurred in my life where I felt this way. So the first one was back in 2010-ish, around there. For a few years prior to that, I had really had a strong desire to build an addition on my house. At that time, I had two teenage stepchildren in a 2-bedroom house, and it was feeling pretty cramped. It was a small house. And I'd had this inkling, this desire to say, wow, wouldn't it be great if we could build a 3rd bedroom and an additional bathroom onto this house? But it simply felt out of reach. At that time, money was really tight, right? And sometimes it was even tough to buy the groceries. So let alone having enough money or the means to build a room on the house. And here's what happened. I attended a retreat myself and I worked on my manifesting tools and I shifted and I started to believe that I could do it. And it was uncanny what happened. Very soon after that, I got an email from the woman who had been taking care of my father's estate. My father passed on and I inherited some money from him because unfortunately he didn't live long enough to retire. So all of his retirement savings ended up being, distributed among his family. That's another story to tell at another time. But so all of that was actually completed. And I got an email from this woman and saying, your father had stocks in Australia that we didn't know about, and we're going to go ahead and sell them and distribute the funds to you and your sisters. And that gave me, I'm not going to disclose how much it was, but it gave me a big lump sum of money that I was able to then put into building the addition on the house. And if any of you knew me in the house I used to live in, you know what an amazing addition it was, with a huge bedroom, beautiful bathroom, and huge walk-in closet. The second instance where I experienced something like this was maybe 5 years ago now. I really realized that the marriage that I was in was not serving me in a positive way, and it was time for me to leave that situation. And yet I was in so much fear about the financial implications of that. At the time, I've been self-employed for many, many years, but I was relying on my spouse's income to pay the bills, and my income was kind of bonus money. Sometimes there wasn't much, and sometimes it was a little bonus money. It certainly was not enough to support me. So I didn't want to quit my business, and yet I couldn't see how it would be possible for me to support myself and pay my own bills and my own rent with that business. And so I was really, really stuck because I thought that if I left the marriage, I would have to leave my business as well. And I would have to go get another job. So I stayed in this place of indecision for a long time, longer than I would like to admit now. And I'm so grateful for one of my best friends who really just gave me a sincere conversation one day. And she helped me to realize that all I had to do was believe it was possible. It had seemed absolutely impossible for me to support myself alone as a self-employed person. I just couldn't see that it was even possible for me because I'd never done it before. And what I did was I started to believe it. I said, I'm just going to trust that this is going to work. And I'm not going to entertain thoughts anymore that I can't do it. It's this or nothing. And as soon as I made that shift, within a couple weeks was when I was offering a retreat at the time that provided me with a really good income for that month. And so for the few months after that, I was paying myself. I was able to show a rental place that I had the money to pay the rent. I met the financial requirements. It shifted within 3 months. If the rental place had looked at my bank statements 3 months prior, they would have denied me. There is no doubt. And yet when I started to believe, it shifted. So you might be watching this and going, wow, Melissa, that's great for you. And kind of be tempted to go back to the status quo in your life, not believing it's possible for you. But here's the key principle, and I'm sure you might have picked up by now. The thing that will shift your manifesting to it feeling impossible and out of reach to actually coming into fruition in your life comes down to shifting a belief. So if you continue to believe that it's not possible, you're right. And the shift starts with belief. You don't need to know all the details. You don't need to know how it's going to work out, but you need to start to believe that it is going to happen in your life. And belief doesn't mean maybe, it's a belief. It's like 100% decision is made, commitment. And there's such a power in that energy. There's a strength and a power and a confidence that comes from making that 100% decision and commitment. Even if you don't know how it's going to work yet, even if you don't know how long it's going to take. I mean, both of those stories that I shared are very memorable because the shift happened so quickly. But it's not always going to happen within a couple of weeks. Sometimes you believe and you hold on to that immense, strong belief, and it still takes 2 years to come to fruition, but you know it is there for you. And that's the difference. That's the power. So where are you in your life kind of acting more weak, acting like you can't do it? And where do you need to start to make the shift? It might not mean that you take action on it right away. Maybe you take action on it right away, but the first step is to shift within, to truly believe that you can do it. So if this kind of transformation sounds exciting to you, then you may be interested in something that's coming up in the fall. Finally, after so much time of pandemic COVID restrictions, I am going to be offering an in-person retreat again. The last one I did was in 2019, so it would be a good 3 years, but it's worth the wait. So if you have an interest in being a part of a retreat experience where you get to experience this kind of transformation, you're going to work over the retreat on that one thing that you need to transform, that belief, that blind spot, so that you can manifest that next step into your life, whether it be money stuff, like I've been using as an example, whether it be a new relationship, whether it be leaving a relationship, whatever it is, whatever is that shift. Maybe you need to shift your career, or maybe you just want to get to that next plateau spiritually and transform yourself and get out of the funk. Maybe you've been having some health issues. Maybe you've been feeling depressed and anxious and you just want to get to that transformation. You can immerse yourself in this 3-day experience and transform, so that on the other side of this retreat, you will have the tools and you will have the belief that you need to bring that into fruition in your life. And so you could struggle on your own for a long, long time, or you could get support, community, backing, and mentoring in this 3-day experience to do it much faster. Plus, we're just going to have so much fun along the way. We're going to do intuitive techniques. We're going to work with healing. We're going to go on nature walks. We're going to enjoy yummy food and fellowship together. So registration for this retreat is going to open on June 13th, 2022. The early bird pricing is only available for about 10 days. So if you are watching this prior to June 13th, there's a link below where you can get on the wait list. And enrollment will open on June 13th. You can jump in, be first to enroll so that you don't miss out because there are limited spaces. If you're watching this after June 13th, I'll post the registration link below. Go ahead and look at that page. Hopefully there's still places available for you to go ahead and sign up at the early bird rate that will only be available for a short time. I'm so excited to welcome you to the mountains of Virginia. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them below.